Hey there, YouTubers. This is your zip code freak, Matt Shiny, here in the 92805 in Anaheim, California, the world headquarters of the ZCF organization, as it is. And today's zip code for this video will be in the state of Washington. Not to be confused with Washington, D.C., which is on the other side of the country from Washington State. Washington State is, if you look at a map of the United States correctly, is on the upper left-hand side of the map. The north was called the Pacific Northwest. Looks like kind of like a buggy without wheels and with a carving deep into the left side. That's Puget Sound for folks, and Seattle's right there. But today's zip code is not in that area. It's more in the middle of the state, the unsung middle of Washington. 98823, a place known as Ephrata, Washington. Not really what people think of in the national consciousness when they think of Washington, but it's here nonetheless. Pretty close to the geographical center of the state, which is 10 miles southwest of Wenatchee. Anyway, Ephrata there started to be non-native activity in the area only 3 years before statehood, which was 1889. At which time, on November 11th, Washington became the 42nd state. Ephrata is in what's called the Columbia River Basin, and the area is not very hospitable for large numbers of anything, really, especially people. Not to put it down, but it is what it is. And it's in the rain shadow of the Cascades, so there's not a whole lot of rain. It gets 7.5 inches of rain per year, and about a foot and a half of snow. I think that the snow is really what keeps it from being considered desert. It's considered semi-desert. So anyway, they're semi-desert grasslands here. And the place got its start in life, even before it was a town. Areas around Ephrata there was a ranching operation going on, and later on a governmental project involving the Columbia River, reclaiming water from it and whatever rain and snow falls in the area. The area has been largely dependent upon use of its natural resources for its existence. It's also the county seat of the county. It's in Grant County. Its name, Ephrata, is actually quite interesting. It's from the Bible, Ephrata or Ephrata. It's the ancient name of Bethlehem. And kind of like Ephrata, Washington, Ephrata, in the Bible is only famous because of a few things. Ephrata in Washington is, as I said, famous for the reclamation project with the Columbia River. It's also for the wild horse roundups that used to take place until 1906, and a handful of people, mostly athletes, that have come from here. Ephrata in the Bible, from which Ephrata takes its name, is known for Jacob first stopping there on his way back from Haran, and his youngest son Benjamin being born on the way there, and his wife Rachel dying as she was giving birth to him. It's also known for the birth of David and Jesus, but an especially interesting thing in the book of Micah, chapter 5, talks about Ephrata, calling it by its full name, Bethlehem Ephrata, saying you're too small to be on the lists. It wasn't even mentioned when Joshua was warring against the Canaanites in the land, he and the sons of Israel. And even though Bethlehem was part of that whole thing, Ephrata was part of that whole thing, wasn't even mentioned, too small. Nowadays it's a little bigger than that, but it's actually bigger than the one we're covering here in Washington. In any event, today's Ephrata in Washington gets less rain than the one in Israel. And as well, the climate there is, in January, kind of chilly, far chillier than the one in Israel. Average temperature is 38 degrees for the high, 20 for the low. Today it's 35 and 23, and it'll probably be like that for a little bit. In any event, but still, like the one in Israel, it holds on, and it's there by the grace of God. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than I've been able to cover in this little video. If you like, hit subscribe. And there's no place too small, no place too anything for this show. And I've covered far smaller places than Ephrata in this video, and you can feel free to look through them. Anybody from there or works there or knows people that work there or live there, feel free to chime in with your 2 cents. I know you got some great lakes over there, Moses Lake and Soap Lake. I was part of a group for a while where we had part of a Christian group that we had some folks living off in Soap Lake, and they would go to Spokane or have a Bible study in their own place as well. Anyway, hit subscribe if you like, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.